So I want you to try these from last week before I go into the new stuff. Do those two. First one, what do we have to do? Conjugate at the bottom, so 3 minus 6i. So if we FOIL, we get 15 minus 30i minus 6i plus 12i squared. In the bottom, if we FOIL, we get 9 minus 18i plus 18i cancel, minus 36i squared. So that's 15 minus 36i. What does 12i squared turn into? On the bottom, negative 36i squared is positive 36. So that gives me 3 minus 36i over 45. Now, remember we always want our answer in standard form, a plus bi. So we do need to break it apart and reduce as much as possible. So if I do 3 over 45, what does that reduce to? Yeah.
Can I mark my name? 1606.
Thank you. Alright, and then 36 over 45 would reduce to, so we have 1 over 15 minus 4/5 I for the final answer. B, what do we have to do here? And we add like terms, so 4 plus 5 is 9, negative I and negative 3i is minus 4i. So make sure after you distribute that negative that you're not trying to multiply. We're still just adding after that point. Any questions there? Let's look at these. So it asks me to write it in standard form. And what is standard form? All right. So if I start reducing this, we have to break it apart. Okay, the square root of negative 128. We need to reduce that as much as possible. So what would you do first of all? Because of the negative, we have to take out. Okay, then 128. Are there any perfect squares that go into that?
64.
So the square root of 64 is 8. So we get 8i radical 2. So if we reduce negative 8 over 4 is negative 2 plus 8 over 4, 2i radical 2. All right. You guys try B. We break it apart. So negative 200, we have to take out an I. 200 we could break into 102. So that's 10I radical 2. So 10 divided by 5 is 2. 10 over 5, 2I radical 2. So 2 plus 2I radical 2. Any issues with those? Okay, the last thing I want to talk about are powers of I. We know that I to the first, there's nothing you can do. But if you have I squared, what does that equal? If I gave you I to the third, so that means you would have 3 i's multiplied together, right? Okay, when you get 2 of them, I to the third, that would be the same as I squared times I. What's I squared? Negative 1, so negative 1 times I, that gives us negative I. If I had said I to the fourth, so if you have 4 i's, we like to make groups of 2 because every time we get an I squared, that's negative 1. So you have I squared times I squared, or negative 1 times negative 1, which is positive 1. If I said I to the fifth, okay, that's I squared times I squared times I. Do you guys agree with that? I squared is negative 1. So you have negative 1 times negative 1 times I, which is positive I. Alright. And this is bad back to where we started. So if I did I to the sixth, if I took this answer times I, we're going to get negative 1. If I did I to the seventh, we're going to get negative I. I to the eighth is going to give us positive 1. So there's really only 4 possible answers. Positive or negative 1, positive or negative I. To figure that out, we could go through this list, but that's a little time consuming. We really need to know how many groups of I squareds can we make, and are there any i's left over? I apologize for my coughing today, guys. I'm really trying. So, if I look at this one, I to the 15th power. So we could try making a list and writing out 15 i's, simplifying them. Or the question is, how many groups of 2 can you make? 15 divided by 2, how many times does it go evenly? 7. 2 times 7 is 14, so we have 1 left over. I squared is negative 1. What is negative 1 to the 7th power? A negative 1 to an even power will be a positive 1, to an odd power will be a negative 1. So we get negative I for the final answer here. B, I to the 33rd power. So how many groups of 2 can we make? 16 times 2 is 32. We need 33, so there is 1 I remaining. So I squared is negative 1. Negative 1 to the 16th. We have a positive 1 times I, which gives us I. I to the 22nd power. I squared to the 11th. 2 times 11 is 22, so there are no remaining i's. I squared is negative 1. What is negative 1 to the 11th power? Indeed. I squared to the 12th. Or sorry, I to the 12th. So that would be I squared to the 6. 2 times 6 is 12, so no more. So negative 1 to the 6th is positive 1. Any questions for me? So that is really the end of this section. You guys have a lot of time left, but my 7th hour, I only had them for about 15 minutes on Friday, so I'm catching them up today. So you guys have time to work on your homework right now.